What's up, guys? Today we'll be reviewing the Reflector 2 app from AirSquirrels. I tried to find a hype video on YouTube, but they don't really have one. So I'm going to put the website in here for you to go and explore. And if you're watching this video on the old Touchcast, you can do that straight from the video with one click. If you're watching it on the old YouTube, Google Reflector 2. Thanks! Alright, so to understand, this is what it does. To understand Reflector, you got to start with Apple's AirPlay. Apple has built in this great little thing to their products that the whole intent is that people with one touch of a button on their Mac or their iPad or their iPhone can send that screen to their Apple TV so they can stream video to their Apple TV. Now, there's two companies that figured out, well, if we use that and we put that to a computer, we can have them pay for software to do that because it's a software download, but we can actually have people stream their iPad, their Mac, their iPhone to a computer. And these two companies are AirSquirrel with Reflector and AirServer. And they figured out, okay, if we have them download our software, they can actually, with AirPlay, they can do that AirPlay button and they can send it to their computer. And think about where that is good, because if the computer's attached to the projector, it makes your iPad wireless. It could make your Mac wireless. It could make your iPhone wireless. It could make a whole class set of iPads wireless that they can display to the projector in the front. And so that's where Reflector and AirServer really make their money, is with teachers and business who want to do that. Now on to my take. There's a couple of things I've noticed here with Reflector. First off, Reflector just smacked AirServer in the face, their competitor. The Reflector 2 has a whole bunch of new features that make it the prime device you want to use. And in reality, it's even better than an Apple TV. So, and we'll talk about some of those features here in a second, but there's a whole bunch of new features that AirServer's going to have to catch up because Reflector 2 is just better than they are right now. Now, like any of these, including Apple TV, including AirServer, and Reflector, there's still some lag issues. The problem with these things is that with all of these kind of streaming software, is that it all depends on your Wi-Fi network. If your Wi-Fi network stinks, you're not going to be able to do this, and there's still some lag issues. Especially, Reflector claims that you can go and you can stream a whole bunch of video. Well, but really the video streaming part, streaming from one device to another, is really only good as your Wi-Fi network. Now, in reality, in schools, as long as you don't have a whole bunch of people running Reflector right next to you, you'll probably be okay. At least that's what I found. But be aware of that there's still some lag issues here, just like there are with Apple TV and with AirServer 2. And I forgot to mention, in reality, those lag issues aren't really even AirSquirrel's fault. Really, you're getting to a point nowadays where there's a lot of tools out there that the internet's going to have to, and the speed of the internet's going to have to catch up to them. Now, some of the features I really like about Reflector 2 is, one, recording your device to do screen capture with your device is super, super easy. Really, as soon as you open up your device onto whatever screen, whatever computer you're streaming it to, there's a record button right there. You press that record button, you can record whatever is going on your device, and you can narrate it too. Makes it super easy to do screenshot capture for Android, for iOS, both iPad and iPhone. Alright, so one of the places that Reflectors really kind of hit AirServer in the mouth here is they've added an app. They've added an app called Reflector Director. Reflector Director is an awesome app because what it allows you to do is you can actually connect a whole bunch of iPads or any device to your computer, and you can actually use the app to kind of control what shows up on your screen. So think about this in a classroom. It's really, really good for like one-to-one iPad classrooms or even one-to-one Android classrooms because it supports Android, and we're going to get to that in a second. But because the teacher can connect all of the devices, and then they can actually go and show up what put what shows up on the screen, and they can control what shows up on the screen, and that's a really, really good thing. The other thing with that is they've actually added a code instead of just a password to connect, which makes it easier for the kids too. Now, the one thing I don't like about Reflector Director right now is for a regular teacher, it does cost a little more money. They're charging, I believe, $7 or around that for Reflector Director. I'm hoping they'll bring that cost down, but right now they are charging about $7 for it. Another one of the really, really good things about Reflector in comparison to AirServer is Reflector has added support for Google. They've added support for Google Chromecast. Right now you can only Chromecast from an Android device to a Chromecast, but they've also added support for Android. So what that means is that a teacher who has a teacher can go on their Mac and they can cast an Android device, and you can cast both iOS and Android device to whatever computer Reflector's on, and that's a really, really cool thing. Think about all the teachers out there that have actually Android phones and they want to be able to cast that. That's a great addition to Reflector, and really one of those things that's really making them the leader in this category. Now, my overall ed take here. I think that if you're going to get a streaming service, I used it when I was in the classroom, like a streaming software. This is the one to get. I think that this is more robust than AirServer. It's a little easier to connect. And I think it's even a little easier to connect than an Apple TV. And the Apple TV costs $99. Even if you bought Director, this one will cost you about $20. And so that's where I think this one's really good. I think in a classroom, if you have a one-to-one iPad classroom and you want to have discussions about what the kids are doing on their device, this is a great, great way to do it. Because what you can do is you can connect all the kids' device to your computer that is running Reflector, and then you can use Reflector Director to pick which device shows up on the screen. I think there's a lot of things that you can do with this in the classroom. Are there some things about Reflector that I think probably need some improvements? Yes, but I think as far as between AirServer and an Apple TV, this is by far your best option, hands down.